Happy Sunday. This is PFG.Live, the podcast dedicated to the writings of internet philosopher Hey Man, Why Didn't You? Hey Man, why didn't you just call it potpourri instead of potpourri? Welcome aboard. We've got a bunch of guys in the Discord server, a bunch of guys checking in on the YouTubes. We're in Windham, New Hampshire. My name is Spencer Webb, and it's your lucky day. Let's see. Evils is checking in from Ghent, Belgium, where it is 31.0 degrees and 20.0 degrees dew point, 49.9% relative humidity. That looks a little weird. Yeah, I'm not sure that works. Dale from Edmonton, Alberta, has a special where its winds are 320 at 22, gusting to 34 knots. 6-mile visibility, light rain and mist. Light rain and mist. They've been waiting for this for a while. Few clouds, 1,800. Scattered, 2,400. Overcast at 4,200. Temperature 02. Dew point 06. Altimeter 3008. Thank you. Let's see. Josh reports at Charlie Yankee Whiskey Golf. It is winds 130 at 12, gusting 18, visibility 15 miles, scattered clouds at 24,000 feet, temperature 27, dew point 11, altimeter 2997. Remarks. It has some remarks. Josh says it's hot and he misses his air conditioner. Warren Jones from Sutton, New Hampshire, my neighbor to the north, reports 50 degrees Fahrenheit, cloudy, light rain, calm winds. Remarks, I can see the grass growing. It is growing. Over on the YouTubes, we have, who do we have here? We have Carl Tauber is checking in from the People's Republic of Rhode Island, and he says it's 68 degrees, partly cloudy. 68 degrees is standard temperature and pressure. Machined Creation says, howdy from Idaho. Welcome aboard, sir. Mr. Tim Beatty from Chandler, Arizona says it's hot and clear. I believe you. And CJ's here. Did CJ give his report? Yeah, we'll get it. Here in Windham, New Hampshire, right now, temperature is 65 Fahrenheit, relative humidity 53%. Winds are out of the northwest at 9 miles an hour. I don't know if it's better evil, but it's a bunch of numbers, and therefore we like them. Let's see, Manchester Airport, my airport to the north, is reporting variable winds, 6 knots, visibility 10 miles, light rain, few clouds at 4,500 feet, broken at 6,500 feet, overcast at 20,000 feet, temperature 19, dew point 06, altimeter 2987, and the remarks are rain began at 06 and ended at 30. Go figure. So welcome aboard. It is Sunday, and we're having a good time. This was a week of lots of little projects. Therefore, we're calling this the Potpourri edition. And I think we look forward to hearing your input on your randomness for the week. Hang on, I got to put my phone on quiet.
Do not disturb on.
Thank you, Martha. Appreciate that. Let's see. We have, I guess we could do the report from the Flat Cave.
Come on, Robin. To the Bat Cave.
It's the Flat Cave. So we had some orders this week. We had one big order, which I really appreciate. So you know who you are in California. And of course, it's the way things work. It's like you get this order for 5 units. And I'm like, did we have 5 in stock or 4 in stock? And you know the answer to that, of course. We had 4 in stock. So we did some production this week on 4-inch rectangular stones. And got them all finished this morning. And yes, DBX, who always gives me grief, I couldn't leave well enough alone. I shot them over to the shipping depot, and they're in the wind. So I'm very happy about that. To all of my customers, thank you very much for your orders. I appreciate it. CJ Stevens is checking in now. He says it's 78 degrees, mostly cloudy, 66% humidity in East Tennessee. I had grocery duty. Now I'm back, he says. Mr. Tim Beatty is reporting that his cheapo AC/DC TIG welder came in Thursday. I should learn I can't TIG weld by next Friday. Welcome to the club. Yeah, you know, we all think we can weld until we watch the guys that really know what they're doing on YouTube, and then we realize we don't know what we're doing. We can't weld. It took me a while to figure that out, but if the stuff sticks, you did it. And we'll talk a little bit about welding today because I had a Heyman project that came in, and we helped my friend Dan out, and that was good. Let's see. We do have some community notes. We should probably get over to that.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So this is, CJ says Jody Collier is the best TIG teacher online. So interestingly, I watched his last video and it was really, really quite enjoyable. Roy Crumrine, which is one of the guys in his circle, also ran some courses at Saunders a while back. I took a course with him, and that was absolutely magnificent. I know I've told the story before, but he shows up with a little show and tell. This is Roy Crumrine of Crummy Welding. And one of the things he brought for show and tell was this little, I think it was about 3/8 of an inch cube of titanium. A 3/8 of an inch cube of titanium. And he made it out of 6 squares and TIG welded the edges. It was unbelievable. So I'm very fortunate to have been able to at least watch him weld, if not maybe learn something from him. Scott is checking in from Flat Rock Manufacturing. That's Petaluma in California. And he reports from Kilo Sierra Tango Sierra that the winds are 0. You don't give a direction here, dude. I guess it's 0 out of the north. 10-mile visibility, clear, temperature 22, dew point 11, altimeter 3001, and the remarks have lots of numbers in them. Max D. Welcome aboard, Max. I was thinking about you this week. I bought a new lens. He reports from Kilo Sierra November Alpha, which is somewhere in Newport Beach, California. Winds are 200 at 7 knots, visibility 10 miles, few clouds at 1500, temperature 20, dew point 14. That's lovely. Altimeter 294, and it also has remarks. Welcome, Max. Nice to hear from you. So we have a community note. Actually, we only have one community note today, unless you guys pipe up and have other things you want to report. This is from somebody named Adam. Adam 79. No, A-Bomb 79. Adam Booth. Adam Booth had his massive shop sale yesterday. And I suggested he come on the live and give us a after action report. And then I said, if you're exhausted, don't bother. And he said, we're running away. So he's taking a break. But I have a note from him, and he wants everybody to know that he has loads of horizontal milling cutter, end mills, taper shank drills, hand reamers, and taper shank reamers, and the stuff needs to go. He says he's looking for interested buyers, maybe buy them in bulk and ship in a crate. If anyone's interested, I'd love to make some deals. So if you want to get a hold of Adam with respect to this, and if you haven't seen, he did a brief video, I think on YouTube, of the stuff in the sale. You have to see this. It's unbelievable. But you can go to abom79.com. That's ABOM, Alpha Bravo, Oscar Mike, 79.com. And there's a contact me button on the homepage. And get in touch with Adam and help him move some of this stuff to a good home, which is what we do. Evil says, nice shirt, nice hat, nice sticker. So today's hat is brought to you by National Geographic Expeditions. I took a course with them, with the magnificent Joe McNally in photography. Joe's a great guy. This shirt is from A-Bomb79, of course, because A-Bomb79. And today's featured sticker is the Saunders Latheworks stickers. Saunders Latheworks, that reminds you that you can't buy enough
lathe tooling.
Thank you very much. So hopefully we could hear from him later. Yeah, it's an affiliate link. No, none of these are affiliate links. Hashtag not sponsored. We just like all these people, and they're wonderful. Ba-ba-ba. So that's the community notes for the day. So let's see. I don't know where to start this week. So my buddy, I guess last weekend was. Oh, CJ, no problem. CJ, DM me your address, and I will shoot you. You want some of these, the Latheworks stickers? I'll set you up. No worries. Last week was Memorial Day weekend, and we took the weekend off, which is traditional. And one of the things that happened is my buddy Dan, who is a fellow pilot. He's a sailboat guy. He's a software guy. He's like, I've got this old truck, and he does. It's a magnificent old truck. I think it was a 67 Ford pickup truck. Might have been not Ford. But anyway, he bought an aftermarket aluminum radiator for it, and he was putting it on. So one of the things that he did was he designed, let's see if I can get you some pictures here. He designed a superior mounting system for it. And part of that mounting system was a rubber shock mount. So he said, could you do some welding for me? And I said, yes, of course. And he cut up some tubing. I'm just looking for the good pictures here. Oh, there it is. I found them. It was so far back because it was Memorial Day weekend. There we go. So there's the picture. If you're listening on audio, this is the aftermarket aluminum radiator for his old truck. We've protected it with cardboard so that the guy in the welding department doesn't screw it up. And Dan cut 4 cylindrical pieces of aluminum, which are going to house some rubber. So the first thing we did is we came up with we tried our welds, and we smashed them and bashed them and tested them for strength, and they were just fine. These welds are not space qualified, but there's a picture of one of the welds, and it came out okay. If Roy Crumrine is listening, you could tell me if you would ever talk to me again, having seen one of those welds. This was the setup, sitting on the welding table. One of the secrets to this one is I took a long stainless steel bolt, and I was able to bolt the cylinder to the frame and basically pin it in position as it got welded, and that worked out quite nicely. For the nerds, I was running about 150 amp maximum on the pedal, and the filler was 4043 aluminum, and it came out really nice. So no complaints there. Customer was very happy. There's a picture of Dan and me. The Okamoto was sitting there quietly asleep while we were welding, and there's your final product. So this shows the tube with the 2 welds on it to the radiator, and the rubber grommet inside the tube. And then later, I don't know if I could show you this one. Dan sent me a picture. Let's see if I could find the picture of the installed. There it is. Here's the installed unit, with the bolt through it, and you can see the rubber that's inside the tube we just welded, and then there's a piece of rubber between the radiator and the frame. And one of the things he told me was that the way this was designed from the factory was, first of all, the radiators were brass originally. And second of all, they were hard bolted to the frame, so they got really beat up. And it was sort of no surprise that they were cracking. So this was his design, and it came out pretty well. So I did get a little time on the welding bench this week, and that was fun. It's very therapeutic. I keep the welder set up and kind of ready to go, even though I don't weld very much. But that means I can jump on it really quickly. Evil says good fixturing is a good thing. I agree. And Evils also says so is doing test welds. Yes, and to his credit, Dan brought an extra piece of that cylinder, and I had some 6061 sheet that we cut a little piece out of, and that's what we used for the test, and it was great. Tucker from Tuck's Garage has reported 70 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny in Buffalo, New York. Welcome, sir. I'm surprised it's not, snowing because it's Buffalo. So that was the welding report. Very happy about that. I love TIG welding, and I have a MIG welder that is collecting dust, and one of these days I'm going to have to send it to a good home because I just don't get any use out of it. So what else happened this week? I was very motivated by Clow 42, James Clow. He did a video in which he is continuing his project of his CNC enclosure for his mill that he is CNCing on his own, and he's doing a great job all around. But there were two things I took away from that project. One of them was his use of send, cut, send for parts. No affiliation, but it encouraged me to, I had to get into the saddle and start understanding how to use those guys. So I did, in fact, go to their website and figure out materials. And there was a material that I was very interested in. It happened to be the one that he's using for his opaque panels. And I think it's called AGM. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's frequently used for signage. And it sounded like a pretty ideal material for a project that I'm working on, which is the monochromatic light source. One of the things I need in the monochromatic light source is white material. Well, they have white material. Another thing I need is, a fairly stiff material and reasonably structural. ACM. Thank you, Evils. Alpha Charlie Mike. So I decided that I would get the Kinetic Precision logo machined into some ACM, and I would order some. So I go to the website and I bring in, and I'm a complete noob on their website. I bring in a DXF file of the Kinetic Precision logo, and I try to get this thing set up for production. Yeah. So that stands for aluminum composite material, not the Association for Computing Machinery. ¿Por qué no los dos? So here it is. Spoilers. Here's the material. This is in white, and if you look on the edge, let's see if I can get you the edge. You can see that it is a black plastic core with two thin sheets of aluminum cladding it, and then two sheets of plastic laminated to it, top and bottom. And I was very surprised at how stiff this material was. And I was really pleased with the with the surface finish. So this is a plastic surface. It comes with a protective layer on it. They machine through the protective layer. So when you first get it, in fact, I'll show you. You know, here's the box from Send Cut Send. By the way, Send Cut Send, what a class act! You get candy. You get their promotion of stuff they're doing. Of course, you get your invoice, and then here's what the parts look like when you first get them in this material. You can see that there's a layer on the bottom that they don't quite machine through, and you just peel that stuff off, and it all cleans up. I like it. I like it a lot. So I think we're going to be using this for the panels in the monochromatic illuminator. One of the interesting things that they say on the website, and it takes a little bit of interpretation, is that the top of the material is matte and the bottom of the material is glossy. The difference is so microscopic, it's really hard to tell. So there's, let's see if I can get you a reflection here. I can't find you a good reflection. The windows, maybe? So if you look at the difference between the top and the bottom, it's really hard to see the difference. So I would say that it's almost exactly the same top and bottom. Max asks, will it laser cut? So the answer to that is, I think no. I think if it would have been able to laser cut, they probably would have laser cut it. So this was CNC machined. I don't think this gets laser cut. And the reason is you got different requirements. So you have a metal layer. Well, metal requires the small wavelength lasers, like the 1 micron lasers. And then we'll get to that in a second, Dale. Hang on. And then the plastic would require a large wavelength laser, like the 10 microns. Now, Dale says a hard no, it will just catch on fire. Dale, do you have experience doing that? Did you like actually test that theory? Because I think maybe you did. Evils puts a little bit more detail on this. The aluminum is 1100 H16 or H18 aluminum outer with extruded solid polyethylene. So it's a polyethylene plastic. It's also it's light. So this is a very interesting material for a lot of applications, and I think it's going to do me just fine for the illuminator. One of my concerns is temperature. So if we have the monochromatic tube, and then above it, we have the housing made out of this material, are we gonna have a thermal problem? And the answer is I don't know yet. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over the tube and just see what the temperatures do. Yeah. Evil says the aluminum encloses the fire, which of course makes it more fun. Hopefully we don't have to test that. So anyway, we have some coasters. If you're interested in a Kinetic Precision custom coaster, let me know. We only have 10 of these. I have to play with a few of them, but there'll be some leftovers. So if you really, really, really want one, send me a DM. This material comes in 2 widths. This is 118, which I'm sure is a metric number. In fact, why don't we just figure that out? I got a measure stick right here. Yeah, this is 2.9 millimeters, probably 3 millimeter nominal. And they have another one which is 236, I think. So what would that be? 5 millimeters? And those are the 2 thicknesses that they come in. They also come in white or black for this material. So I kind of like it. So let's talk a little bit. So that's the material, and the material's interesting, and it has a lot of promise. But let's talk about the process a little bit, because the process was pretty interesting. Once I figured it out, I sent them a DXF file, and they will take about 5 different formats, but DXF seems to be the one that everybody tends to send them. And in Fusion, okay, if you select a surface, you can export a DXF file from the surface. So that generates the single line, the outline and everything. And then you put that into your order with the material information and all that. If all the information is there, it's go time. It goes right into the process. If they have a question, they will question you. And I had to go back and forth a few times because I was an idiot. We figured it out. I had originally spec'd this to be 3 inches on a side instead of 4 inches on a side. And that little space between the K and the P on the logo had shrunk to a unacceptable width for their process. So they have their rules. And so what I did is I scaled it up until that critical point was above their minimum number. And then their process said, okay, you're fine. That was the first thing. And then the second thing, and this was amazing, I scaled up the quantity until the shipping went to free. So if you order above a certain threshold, you get free shipping. So Dale says one of his neighbors had a local place with a 3 kilowatt laser to try to laser cut it and almost needed the fire department. Do not laser cut it. I hope that answers your question, Max. I hope you're back from the makerspace and you did not turn on the laser. So having described to you what this is, this nice little part here, what do you think I paid for this? Don't put it in chat yet. Just everybody give this a microsecond of thought. So it's the 3mm thickness ACM material, and it's approximately 4 by 4 inches. Thank you. So it's 3mm and 6mm are the 2 thicknesses they have. Okay. You've had a second to think about it. What do you think I paid for this in quantity 10? What do you think I paid for that? Go ahead and put your guesses in the chat, and we will take a look, because I was actually reasonably impressed with how much this cost. Anybody? Okay, so Evil says more than a PC board would cost. That's not a number. Mr. Tembidi says $49 plus $1 material, $50. For the 10, are you saying for the 10? Machine Creation says $3.79. Okay. What's the exchange rate on kidneys? I don't know. I didn't pay with kidneys. Nor cornea. Neither one. Okay, I'll tell you. The total order was about $32 or $3.28, I think. So it was about $3.28. Microwave One says 7 zloty. Yes, we pay zlotys here, of course. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you. No, this was 10 of these for $32. I also was impressed with the cost. Also, from the day I placed the order to the day I started, I had them in my hands was 7 days. Also very impressive. So the next step in my process here is I'm going to continue my design on the illuminator, and I'm going to order parts from Send Cut Send. Not sponsored, but they seem to be really good guys. The bounding box size. You mean of parts you can order? Are you asking how big a part you can order? Oh, of these things. These are, I'll give you the millimeters. These are roughly 107 millimeters square and 3 millimeters thick. In bananas, this is approximately 0.579 standard bananas there, Dale. You're all set. Mr. Tim Beatty says they, meaning Send Cut Send, is the reason that he will never own a metal brake. Mr. Tim Beatty says Clow 42 ordered about 2 foot by 4 foot, but he didn't machine them. Right. There was no machining involved with his orders. I like James. He's a good guy. Go subscribe to his channel. And they're made in the USA. Yes. So there's a lot of cheap stuff you can get now from China. You can get PC boards made that are absurdly cheap. And you can get some of this stuff made. There's a company that I'm not going to mention that does sponsor some other channels. But this was made in the USA. Yeah. So that's my story about Send Cut Send. So Send Cut Send, guys, nice job. Good work. You'll be seeing more from me. And maybe later I'll have my sour punch. So that was the Send Cut Send update. Hopefully you guys can give me some more input on your experiences with those guys. Evil says it's $209 if you want it made in Belgium. Thank you, but we'll keep the Belgium orders for chocolate mostly, and if they can be laser engraved. More stealing from Clow 42 was, and this might have been what triggered me, is building the monochromatic illuminator using the extruded aluminum that is similar to what he's using. Similar because not necessarily the same size. So I talked about this already. I talked about the 20 millimeter extruded aluminum, which we sometimes incorrectly call 80-20 because 80-20 is a brand name. It's like Coke. Would you like a Coke? No, we only have Pepsi. So this is an aluminum extrusion. I got this from a company. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these guys called, it starts with an M, McMaster Car. So I was recommended to look at Mitsumi, and I know Evils was on it. So Mitsumi is a company that does these, and Unix Carbide thinks very highly of Mitsumi. I ordered some parts for a project from McMaster Car, and I don't know where this came from. You know, McMaster Car is a distributor. I don't know who the manufacturer was. I could have asked. I did not. But these are very nice. So they have much of the bits and pieces and bobs, and I will probably get it from McMaster Car just to make it easy. I'll have a little McMaster Car story for you a little later. So learning from what Cloud 42 went through, I will take those lessons in building the illuminator. I also received, so let's see, I don't have a lot to say about the aluminum extrusions, except that I was very encouraged by James's results. So I'll be proceeding with that. One of the other things that we need in the monochromatic illuminator project was some plastic and some diffusers. So it was funny. I looked in my emails, and 6 years ago, I got an email from Mr. Tom Lipton, and we were talking about monochromatic things. And he sent me a picture of a box that he made. It was very, very simple. And he used a piece of diffusion plastic, white diffusive plastic. I guess it was an acrylic, not sure. And it's simple. It's really simple. Throw bulb in box, paint inside white, put white diffuser on the front. The design I'm going with is a little more complicated than that. that is going to result in more even illumination, which is important for this application. So I ordered a sample of plastics, and I did order it through McMaster-Carr in 2 foot by 2 foot pieces. One was a simple white diffusing acrylic piece, and then 2 more of them were clear acrylic or polycarbonate. I think it was polycarbonate. I'm not sure. But if you ever look up at a light source mounted on a ceiling, frequently you'll see these reticulated or microprismatic surfaces on the plastic in front of the LEDs. So that's the material we're talking about. I'm going to be using 2 layers of material, and which layers get which material is a topic for another day. But one of the layers is probably going to be one of these microprism layers. So I placed the order with McMaster-Carr after checking with my local plastic supplier. So I have a really good plastic supplier locally, and they took care of me on a couple of projects. And I went to them and I told them what I wanted, and they said, we don't have any of that in stock. And to order that, we're going to have to do a minimum quantity, and it was going to be ridiculous. So the guy at the plastic supply company says to me, McMaster has some of these. He got a lot of points for having said that to me. Anyway, long story short, I went to McMaster, I ordered these up, and they came in. Yeah. So it's not a Fresnel lens. It's really a microprismatic diffuser or confuser, probably. It is not a Fresnel lens. I guess you could argue. Nah, you can't argue that. It's not a Fresnel lens. And I don't think we're going to be using a Fresnel lens. So I order 3 different kinds of plastic. That's a pretty good picture of it, Dale, in chat. I ordered 3 different kinds of plastic to test from McMaster-Carr. And it comes in 2 different boxes. I later learned it is because it came from 2 different sources or 2 different warehouses. Thank you, Dale. Those are good illustrations. Yeah, exactly. One of the boxes was smashed on the corner. It's like, oh, come on. And sure enough, when I bring the boxes into the shop, one of them is got a little bit of a rattle to it. I knew exactly what happened. Sure enough, the piece of plastic, which is the microprismatic piece of plastic, had cracked and smashed on one of the corners. And it was pretty brittle. It's pretty thin and pretty brittle. And I could believe this because one of the things you're going to do is hang it up on a lamp. You don't want it to be a very heavy piece of plastic. So I called McMaster-Carr, and I got a really super guy on the line. His name is Michael. And I told him what happened. And you know the rest of the story. I don't even have to tell you. In 5 minutes, there was another shipment heading my way. But I also gave them feedback on it that material is a little fragile and it needs better packaging. So at no additional cost, it's coming in. I have pieces I could play with, and I will. And we'll be putting up pictures and more information online as we do. Evil says I've destroyed so much of that stuff trying to change tubes in an office ceiling. It's fragile. It's fragile. Yeah, it's fragile. So Evil says it's fragile stuff after a few decades. It was fragile stuff, brand new, bud. So it wasn't you. So that stuff's coming in, and then I'm going to figure out what combination of the plastics is going to do what I want. So that's what makes the. I see Russell in the Discord. Welcome aboard, Russell. and Orjan, and we already said hi to Tucker. So what we want when we look at the illuminator is very even light across the 24 inches by 24 inches of the source. And that's because we're really, when we look down, there's going to be a camera in the center of this thing. When we look down, we want our optical flat to be very evenly illuminated. That's the reason. So there's 2 layers of diffusion inside, and we're going to pick what goes where. And that is what's coming up on the illuminator. So stay tuned for that. I will also be 3D printing various fixtures for the extruded aluminum stuff and buying the various nuts and things as recommended by Mr. Cloud42. So we'll keep you posted on that. So this week, while I was working on Moly rods, Dale was talking to me on Discord while he was working on his nuts. So Dale sent me an awesome picture. Let's see if I could find it, of his machining project, which is part of our thumbnail. And it just so happens that I wanted to show this to you. So Dale gets an order from a client. Yeah, Dale says he's making them right now. Get ready. We're going to go live with you in a second, Dale. You could get ready for that. But Dale gets a order from a client, and this is the nature of his business. I need these nuts. This is the specifications, and I need them like right now. Of course, you could sort of order these, but you can't get them right now. So this is what Dale does, and he is cranking them out. Can you put up some video for us? These are steam turbine nuts. 1.5 8 is the specification for the thread. 1.5 inches, 8 threads per inch, and it's a 12-point nut, which I think is really super cool. And one of the things I enjoy, when I'm working in my shop and Dale's working his shop, we get to share information and pain as we're doing these projects. So he's making them. Yeah, Evils wants you to make it 13 point, Dale. Could you do that? Hey, Robin's here. Welcome aboard, Robin. So Mr. Dale is cranking these out as we speak. I'll remind you that today is Sunday, and probably his customer wants them on Monday. But that was kind of fun. And while we're talking about that, yeah, yeah, you could. Let me bring you in. That's my. I guess I have to push this here button, and I could bring you in. Are they shipping tomorrow?
They are going to ship tomorrow morning.
There we go. We'll go big. So this is live. This is live from Edmonton, Alberta, where Dale is making his nuts. So is this the beginning? This looks like the beginning of the cycle.
This is the second half of them on the lathe, and
beautiful.
That's the finished product.
Now, what process?
And then we'll go over to the mill.
Okay.
To make the hex.
Oh,
the 5th axis.
Got it. Okay, that was my question. So all the points are made in the horizontal mill.
Yeah, clearance issues. I do it in the lathe, but live tooling on the lathe, you got so many clearance issues. And plus, then I can run 2 machines at a time. So this is up.
Can you
a little bit more time efficient?
Can you hold it up? Is it legal to use CNC on steam engine parts? Only if it's
no, steam turbine.
Steam turbine.
Not
yeah.
Steam engine, steam turbine.
On a steam turbine.
These are going to hold the 2 halves of the case together.
Yeah. Hey man, why didn't you?
And they're a one-use consumable product.
Yeah, so that's the interesting part. Dale and I were talking. Once this goes on a steam turbine, and then if you have to do a repair and it comes off the steam turbine, it goes
You
into
throw these away.
goes into the can.
The studs, the nuts, they all go in the garbage. Yeah,
And what's the name for that?
because they've been heat cycled.
That's known as job security. Is that what that is?
It's yes. Thank you guys that inspect steam stuff, aka bombs in buildings, and make sure that they don't turn into bombs in buildings. They keep me employed.
Well, Dale, thank you very much for sharing your nuts.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh man. So that was going on this week as I was talking to Dale working in my shop. Another thing that happened this week is I sell Moly rods, and I sell these. Oh, Robin says torqued to yield and creep factor. Yeah, single use and done right. So I sell rods of molybdenum for truing diamond grinding wheels, and this was due to a patent in 1973 by Tish, and it's a pretty cool process. And see pfg.gg/Moly, MOLY, and you'll learn about that. And you have to slow down your wheel to make that process work, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a really cool process. So I found a company up in Maine called Elmet, and they make specialty metals, in particular molybdenum and tungsten. So you can get tungsten rods and molybdenum rods and all sorts of stuff. Just, be comfortably seated when you look at pricing. So these are good guys. I buy my molybdenum from them. We cut it here and then we package it up. So they had shipped me 2 6-foot rods. I think they're 6 foot. And it was sitting in the shop for a couple months because I hadn't gotten to unboxing it. And this isn't a product that exactly flies off the shelf. So yesterday, also, while talking to other folks on the Discord server, I start opening this shipping tube that I got from Elmet. This shipping tube, it had wooden plugs in it. I couldn't get the plugs out. So I took my Sawzall and I cut the plug, one of the plugs off. This shipping tube had to be 5/8 of an inch on the wall. So it's like a 4-inch shipping tube with these amazingly thick walls, rugged as all get out. And you think, well, yeah, you're also paying a couple of pennies for this stuff. So I cut it open, I pull out the contents, and it was my 2 molybdenum rods, and they're wrapped in bubble wrap. Like really nicely. So I start cutting open the bubble wrap. Well, the rods are now shrink fit together with this clear shrink fit plastic tube, packing material, and wire ties every couple of feet along these 2 rods. I swear it took me 15 minutes to unbox the 2 Moly rods that I got from Elmet. They did such a nice job packaging these things. I just wanted to give them a shout out. What a cool company. They're up in Lewiston, Maine. They've been there since, I think we figured out it was since 1933 or something. Cool company. I think we may have to go visit those guys and see what's going on up there. But I had to share this with you. It was it was the best packaging of raw materials sent to me ever. And I really enjoyed it. So I think next time I'm going to threaten to just come pick them up in Lewiston. I think that would be kind of fun. And I'll report more. So if you do grinding with diamond wheels, and you true your wheels some other way, you might want to look at molybdenum truing. Go to my website, read up on it. It's got links to the Tish patent and a bunch of reference material. And if you want to try it, let me know, and we'll sell you some 2-inch lengths of Moly. They last a long time. They don't get used up real fast, and they do a really good job. You have to be able to slow your wheel down. I think I slow my wheel down to 600 RPM. I believe that's my number. There's a table on the website, and I take 1,000th, and that works out really well. But the story was about Elmet and their magnificent packaging, and now I want to do a project where I have to order tungsten. That'd be even funner. Have any of you ever used tungsten in projects? I know there's an alloy, which I think Elmet also sells, called Tungaloy, which is 10% copper. Yeah, I know. I know, Robin. I'm sure you're. Yeah, Dale says yes. So Tungaloy is 10% copper, and it's actually quite machinable. I think 100% tungsten would scare me a little bit. I know when I went to cut the 100% molybdenum, it's actually 99.5 plus. I completely blew up an insert, which maybe wasn't such a surprise. Tungaloy is a brand name for carbide inserts. Yeah, but they have. Okay, maybe I'm remembering wrong. Mr. Tim Beattie says he built Langmuir probes with tungsten rods for research at university. Cool. I don't know how many places you can order tungsten, but Machined Creation says I machined some tungsten last weekend. Was it pure tungsten or was it the alloy, the 10% copper? I'm curious. McMaster. Yes, you can order on McMaster also for tungsten. And for I think can you get the molybdenum? I think molybdenum is available also. You better be seated comfortably, perhaps with a cold drink when you read the prices. Okay, so Dale's pointing out that they have the electrically conductive tungsten copper. Robin says 2-inch round boring bar for plunge cutting diamond roll forms. Oh, in tungsten. Yeah. Boy, that sounds fun. And Chris O says Eagle Alloys, maybe Elmet, ? I don't know, but at least on this coast, if you had to go get some, that's who you go to. So that was fun unpackaging that, and I just like to give credit where credit is due. When companies take such magnificent care of shipping their product, I just love it, and it was a good thing to see. And again, thank you, Dale, for sharing your nuts. We appreciate it. Yeah. So also, I mentioned briefly the Freddy. So the Freddy, as you know, has been here a few weeks. I did some testing with it, just with water, and I've learned how to run it. Right? It has a big lever that goes between two. Now the different models are different, but on the Micro Plus, which is the one I got, there's a lever that goes between suck and blow. Okay, and you have to get all the valves right on the end of the tubes. We talked about that last time because our good friend Adam, the other one, Adam Demuth, had an experience with one of them. So I got my filters. This was the important thing. I got the filters in, and I think I've got my process figured out. And there's two things to figuring out the process. Yeah, Dale says you could paint the ceiling if you get them backwards. Yes, this is what I'm worried about. From the Freddy point of view, I think I'm going to the first tank I need to clean out is my grinder coolant tank. That's the high priority. And it comes with a 100 micron filter. So I think I'm going to use the 100 micron filter and get whatever I can in the 100 micron filter and then switch to the finer filters. I think I misspoke on the last PFG.Live. It was not a 5 micron filter that I ordered. It was a 10 micron filter. I think a 10 and a 20. I got 5 of each. So we're gonna first run the coarse filter, get all the chunks out, and then we're gonna run the 10 micron, and we'll go to town. Let's see. That is a picture from Wesley, who says a couple of spinning tops. Look at that. Is that okay? We got some conversations going on in the chat, and that's what I love. That's tungsten. Oh, cool. Neato. Oh, so much to play with. So the Freddy is getting ready to do the first coolant cleaning job, and it's going to be on the grinder, and we'll report back. One of the things that is non-trivial about doing the grinder coolant tank, I will show you a picture of the grinder coolant tank. So there it is if you're on video. This is a band filter over a tank, and this is what's running on the grinder. So when the band filter gets clogged, the water level in the bowl formed by the band filter, the paper band, rises, and it lifts a float, just like in your toilet. Okay, it lifts a float, and it triggers the band to pull out and pull fresh filter band in, and then continue. And you can see the NFG coming out of the band filter right there. Now the challenge is that there's really three parts for this. The top part, which holds the little trough that the grinder is dumping into, is connected by a little elbow to the top plate, so that gets lifted off. The second part is the band filter mechanism itself that has the motor, it has the chain. There's a picture from Dale. Let's get you back to there's the float. So the third part of this is the tank itself, which is the lowest one. And if you look really closely, you can see that it has wheels on it. So remember I mentioned Dan, who got his radiator welded by a rank amateur? So Dan's going to come over and help me out. We're going to lift off the top piece, which has the trough, put that aside. We're going to wheel the whole structure out. Then we're going to lift up the band filter and put it on sawhorses. And then we're going to push the tank back carefully from under it, or we might be able to work with it just like that. But if not, we'll roll it back. So there's this little dance we have to do to get down to the tank so that we could fully Freddy it. And that's what's going to happen. And then I can go to town and Freddy the heck out of that thing and get it clean. I predict success. I think it's going to work out really well. And that's coming real soon. So the Freddy will get dirty this week, and I will report back. I think there's one other picture I have of the setup. Let's see if I've got this here. Yeah, this is just another view of what it looks like. And you can see, let's see, can I, no? Well, there we go. All right. So that's the Freddy story, and that's coming up. And let's see. Machine Creations says he's pretty sure he was machining pure tungsten. Interesting. I'd love to know how that went. So finally, so I'm seeing my friend Russell in the chat. So Russell's been doing 3D printing to some serious success, and I just wanted to say that if if you guys see Russell in the 3D printing channels, definitely engage. He is learning a lot. Russell says that he has some small tungsten rods for me next time I come by the rock store. Thank you, sir. I actually have a little demo I built for the high school kids, which has little cylinders of tungsten, one cylinder of tungsten because it was given to me, and then we made matching aluminum and stainless steel cylinders, and then we made matching equal weight cylinders to match the tungsten. It's really kind of cool, and it's really nice for teaching the density of materials. Yeah, Wesley says the tungsten seemed pretty tough. I took it easy-ish. Well, when I tried to machine the molybdenum, I thought I was taking it easy-ish too. Then it took my tool away really easy-ish. So we're back to sawing it. One more item for you this week. And then we're going to wrap this up. I got interested in NFC tags. So I have quite a bit of background in RFID things. I've designed a lot of antennas for 915 megahertz RFID. And that's very interesting. But this is not RFID. This is NFC, which stands for Near Field Communications. So I'm holding a little disc of aluminum, not of aluminum, of plastic, which has embedded in it an NFC chip and a loop antenna. That's what's in there. I know that without even looking. This thing is really thin. This is 1 millimeter thick with the adhesive and the backing paper. So one of the things you can do with this is if you hold your phone up to it. In fact, I think I could demo this. Let's see if I could demo this. Yeah, so if I hold my phone, you won't actually see anything, but it is oh, actually, yeah, there it is. It's actually sending me a text that says hello. Let me walk you through why I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this for shop automation. So imagine if this was stuck to the plexiglass at my mill, the CNC mill. And when I walk up to the CNC mill, I take my phone and I just touch the phone to the thing and it fires off an automation. Yeah, we'll answer that, Chris. So now I know this is true for the Android guys. I'm an iPhone guy, so I'm going to speak from my point of view, but I think there's a equivalent. There's an app in the iPhone called Shortcuts, and you can make an automation. And one of the things you could do is if you read an NFC tag, do the following. So DBX had been playing with these for a while, and he had these in his house in strategic spots. So if he took his phone and held it up to the tag, it would turn off certain lights or turn on certain lights or turn on the lights and then send a message to somebody else. A whole bunch of cool things you can do. So I ordered a little pack of these. I don't have a number for them. I'll try to put that link in the show notes. But it works, and they're cheaper than dirt. I think a package of 20 of them they're cheap. They're less than 20 cents for one of these things. Russell says it used to be an Android app called ITTT, If This Then That. So If This Then That was a web service, okay, which would work with these things, but really it starts on your phone. So you just got to figure out what the name of the app is. So I'm going to play with these. I don't have any results except to say that I started messing with it, and it's pretty cool what you can do. You could have the app on your phone read the tag and then execute an automation. That automation can shoot data into Home Assistant. You see where I'm going with this? Now Home Assistant can control lights and other stuff and outlets and whatever, which is what we're doing in our shop, right? We're using Home Assistant in our filament drying system. So there's some real possibilities here. And I'm just encouraging you to join me in playing with these silly things. If you just go to Amazon and type in NFC tags, you will find these, no question. And very interesting. This company, let's see if I can tell you what the name of the company is. No, I can't. It's, as usual, it's sort of this generic packaging. But stay tuned. Chris O has a question. Chris O says, random question I wanted to ask real quick, though I'm sure it has already been answered. What are people using for initial filament drying? Oven, dehydrator, OTS options, off-the-shelf options. A bit behind the curve here, just trying. Okay, so let's spend a couple of minutes. This is worth talking about. As you know, I'm using dry air being pumped into my AMSs, or you could pump it into any container. So we've researched containers. We know about that. We have established that dry air is a great way to keep your filament dry. We've established that. If you say, well, I'm going to take this wet, I put wet in quotes, filament, non-dried filament, into my AMS with my dry air system, I will let the dry air dry it out. This works. This is very, very slow. Okay? So it's just, if you think of it in terms of energy, right? The moisture is going to diffuse out of the plastic because the air around it is drier. But that takes so long. So we use heat to help dry the plastic and drive the moisture out. That happens relatively quickly. So what I do is I have a surplus lab oven that I bought, and it has fans that blow air through it, and it has an air leak on the top, and it is specifically designed for dehydrator applications. One of the things you have to be careful of is if you just use a container that gets hot, if it does not exchange air, all you're doing is making the moisture hot. You're not exchanging, you're not moving the moisture out of it. So the answer to your question is, I could answer in 2 words: beef jerky. Go make some beef jerky, and you will find. Now, I make beef jerky occasionally. Haven't made it in a while. I'm getting a little hungry now. But in my oven, which is an electric oven, if I want to make beef jerky, I have these little blocks that I made, the wooden blocks with magnets, and I put it on the door, and it props the door open. And then you run a dehydration cycle, which is basically a low temperature. I think it was 100. I can't remember exactly what it was, 175 degrees, something like that. And then it has the convection fans in the oven. That was a dehydration cycle because you were heating it up, but allowing for the exchange of air. So if there is a certain amount of moisture per cubic whatever in the air that you're standing in, if it's a high temperature and it has that much moisture per cubic whatever, that's a low relative humidity. Okay. If it's a low temperature and you have that much moisture per cubic whatever, that's a high relative humidity. So the relative humidity, when you make things hot and it drives the moisture, out, and it mixes with the air, it gets dry. That's how we make beef jerky. But when you're done making your beef jerky, what do? You put it into a container and you close the container so that the moisture doesn't go back into the beef jerky. Your filament is exactly the same. Okay. So Dale says cheap food dehydrator. Excellent idea, because a food dehydrator is going to do exactly the right thing. Robin says dehydrator for low temperatures can do 9 spools at a time. He has a specific one that he likes. I think we put a link to that in the links page. I'm not sure. For nylon, this is Robin says, for nylon, a convection toaster oven with a SSR, which is a solid state relay, and self-tuning PID controller for temperature control. Great idea. But you'll notice that everybody's talking about convection, dehydration. You have to be a little careful. So if I gave you a roll of filament and you put it in, for example, a pressure cooker, okay, this is just an illustration. Do not go do this. And then you brought the temperature up and you kept it there for N hours and you brought the temperature down and you took your filament out, what would you have? The same thing you started with. Mr. Tim Beatty says, I live in Arizona. My garage is a good dryer. You are correct. You're right. Yeah. Dale's new band is Cubic Whatever. Tonight at the Orpheus. Orpheum. So that's the short answer to your question is you don't need anything expensive. A food dehydrator is perfect. Hang on.
Perfectly.
There we go. A food dehydrator is perfect. Okay. There are magic temperatures. I'm trying to remember what mine are. 150 F, 8 hours. That's my PETG drying. That would work great, but it's exchanging air. It's got an air leak. Okay. When you're all done with that, you want to keep it stored properly. Storage for us, we've already gone down this rabbit hole. Heavy-duty aluminized bags that are sold for food storage. Perfect. Nothing's better. Literally nothing's better. So see the quest for dry filament under pfg.gg/links. And if you dig around in there, you'll find the information that we learned. There you go. You're welcome. I think that was a worthy reminder. It helps Chris, and it secretly helps Russell, and I think it's worth talking about. Okay, with that, are there any other questions, complaints, epiphanies that we need to cover before we wrap this thing up? I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to say thank you to my customers for being wonderful customers. If you need something flat or a way to get something flat, head over to PFGstones.com where you can get, I know this is crazy, PFG Stones. Also Moly rods, also the balancing stand, also the balancing ring. They're all available under PFGstones.com. Dale says we don't have the time or the money to deal with all the complaints. That is correct. Thanks for being here. Get flat, stay flat. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care.